For decades, international politics has oscillated between confrontation and dialogue. Some leaders rely on power, others on diplomacy, but only a few have spent their entire political lives trying to turn conflict into negotiation. My guest today is one of them. Joining me here in Baku is José Ramos-Horta, President of Timor-Leste and Nobel Peace Prize Laureate. Mr. President, you are so welcome to our program.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. President, actually, your political life has been shaped by one central belief that even the most difficult situations and conflicts can be resolved through dialogue, right? So, looking at the world today, do you still believe diplomacy is keeping pace with the growing complexity of modern conflicts?
Absolutely. No war can end without a lot of people dying. One side may win, like World War II. Nazi Germany, Mussolini, Italy were defeated. Japan defeated with a nuclear bomb, and all of that. But in this 21st century, the use of force, the use of nuclear weapons to end a war is just unthinkable. And very rare in history that a conflict ends with a military victory by one side. It's rare. It happened, obviously. But some of the situations, like in Gaza, Palestine, Israel and Palestinians, right now, Israel together with the US and Iran, well, it will end with negotiations, with dialogue. Preferable if the current war launched by the United States and Israel ideally should have been prevented. That's why we talk all the time, so often, about preventive diplomacy, precisely to avoid this situation today. And in January 2024, I was in Rome. I met with His Holiness Papa Francisco, and I told him, I am so disillusioned with the international community. We talk all the time about conflict prevention, and we fail all the time. Why we didn't prevent the Ukraine war from happening? Why didn't we prevent the new phase of the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians? Why are you not able to prevent now Iran and the United States? It is, in this case, failure of leadership. The Iranians were in negotiations with the US via a third party, the third party, Oman. Well, when you agree with negotiations, you must give time. Preferable more time and more time, then you end the negotiations and go for war. Well, anyone with common sense, with prudence, serious leadership would know that allowing the conflict, the war, to take over from dialogue, the result is total catastrophe in terms of destruction. Iran, and Israel, then the GCC countries, economies, and that impact so many others around the world. The cost is enormous. Why couldn't we wait a few more weeks for the negotiation to resolve? So my comment is that we must always give priority, we take seriously resolve disputes with negotiations.
Mr. President, sorry for interrupting. If we dive deeper to the current tensions in the Middle East, as you have already mentioned, this war in Iran, in the Middle East, it also suggests us that tensions can escalate very quickly, even unpredictably, right? So, for instance, the current tensions surrounding Iran have again raised fear that a kind of miscalculation could trigger a broader confrontation in the Middle East as well. What's your perspective? What are your predictions?
Absolutely. It is a catastrophe. I have said many times in the past, and the Arab countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, they all told the US side, they told Israelis, do not launch an attack on Iran because there will be consequences. The war will expand, will spill over the entire region. So what happened, like in many other situations, when a war happens, is usually one side underestimate the other side, one side overestimate itself. In this case, one side underestimated Iran, overestimated their own capabilities. This is the result. So it is profoundly damaging to US credibility. And the US is very important. We want a United States that is peaceful, that is predictable, that is generous. In this context today, in my speech, I mentioned congratulate Azerbaijan for the peace agreement with Armenia. In a war situation with lack of leadership, a deficit in peace leadership, Azerbaijan show that peace is possible, not only force. Sometimes, yes, you have to use force to be credible. But the use of force has to be always very well studied to avoid collateral damage. So in this time of incredible failure of leadership, I congratulate Azerbaijan for the success in the negotiations and peace settlement with Armenia. And as the president said in his speech, the two sides met directly, no mediators, because in the past there were too many mediators and that achieved nothing. So Azerbaijan and Armenia themselves resolved the problem. So enormous congratulations to Azerbaijan.
When you met President Ilham Aliyev 3 years ago in 2023, you also discussed strengthening the cooperation between our countries as well, including within the non-alignment movement. So in your view, can platforms representing the global south still play a meaningful role in balancing global power confrontation in the current world?
For a time in the last several decades, with the end of the Cold War, it looked like the non-aligned movement was going to lose its raison d'etre. The non-aligned movement was created in the height of the beginning of the Cold War, precisely to give a forum, a space to countries that didn't want to align with the Soviet Union or with the United States. And then when the Cold War ended, it seemed like it lost its meaning. But it's actually even more important now as a get-together, as a forum for all the countries of the South. And the countries of the South are half of the world population, at least. more than, the world population now is more than 8+ billion. In Asia alone, there are almost 5 billion people, plus Africa, Latin America. So the non-aligned movement represents the aspirations, the need for alternatives that preach peace, that give peace a priority, dialogue is a priority. And the role of Azerbaijan as leader of the ANEWZ is very important. But so are countries like India, Indonesia, Turkey, Brazil. These countries, emerging economies, emerging powers, members of G20, may do more in dialogue with G7 to improve the climate right now. The UN is fragmented, not because it is not the responsibility of Secretary General. The United Nations is made up of all of us, 190+ countries.
And Mr. President, we are meeting here at the 13th Global Baku Forum. How do you assess this kind of platforms? I mean, where leaders can meet and exchange their views outside formal negotiations?
There are many forums like this one. You have Davos and Shangri-La in Singapore, and that's mostly defense and security. I attend almost every year. Then you have the Munich Security Conference. And there are many other smaller meetings, and all of them very important, that we create space, forum, for leaders to exchange views, for specialists to talk. But the question is, with the abundance of wisdom in the world, gathered in the Baku Global Forum, in Davos, in Shangri-La Dialogue, in Munich Security Conference, in non-aligned movement. Still, we have so many wars, maybe because we produce speeches, we produce papers, and no one reads. You know, the leaders, I mean, the ones in Washington and in NATO countries, they don't read them. And we, my country, Timor-Leste, we are far away. We are near Bali, near Darwin, Australia, and we have nothing to do with all these wars, but we suffer. We suffer from commodity prices increase, petrol price increase, then it's a chain reaction. There are so many, because the world is connected. Globalization means we are globalized, we are connected, and when, like in an orchestra, something fails in one or two instruments, affect everybody else.
But exactly 30 years ago, you received Nobel Peace Prize, actually, for your efforts to resolve maybe one of the worst, let's say, conflicts of the late 20th century. And after decades of diplomacy and also in the negotiations, are you today more optimistic or maybe more cautious about the global peace in the near future?
I'm just very disillusioned, not optimistic. With the current situation, because it's almost a situation of lawlessness. There is no law, because in a civilized world, a country may be powerful, and the country that is powerful knows it has global responsibilities. It needs everyone else to keep the peace and prosperity in the world. And I can only say I feel very sorry, very sad for the world situation, because the innocent, the poorest will pay the bigger price.
Mr. President, I thank you for your time. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.